Hello and welcome to this week's session of Check-in Wednesdays. My name is Yvonne Madovi and I am a member of Transformation Team, and we do these weekly videos just to make sure that you're taking care of your emotional health and you're looking after yourself. And every week we post tips on how best you can do that. So if you haven't followed our other videos, do check them out on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel, and do subscribe so that you get notifications whenever we post a new video. So this week I want to be talking about self-care, and this is a topic that I really feel is important in the time that we're in. You know, the whole world is facing the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, and you have countries existing in lockdown for long periods of time. If you're in Zimbabwe like we are, we've been in lockdown since March, and so it's been dragging on for a while. And I think that it can be easy to lose track of, needing to take care of yourself and maintaining those routines that help you to stay okay. And so I thought I'd just remind us of the things that we may know but maybe forgetting a little bit or maybe neglecting. And it's just so important for us to take care of ourselves, because oftentimes, especially when there's a crisis like this one, we may find ourselves in a caregiver role and find that we're having to take care of those around us. And sometimes we can end up neglecting our own well-being. And this is never a good thing, because, even when you're taking care of other people, it's so important that you keep taking care of yourself so that you are able to help those around you. Even when you're in an airplane and the flight attendants do their announcements, when they talk about, if you hit turbulence and the oxygen masks come down, they always tell you need to put on your oxygen mask first before attending to those next to you, whether it's your children or the elderly or helping your neighbor. They say you need to make sure that your mask is on first so that you're able to help those that are around you. And this is just a good principle even in our own lives. Even when we're taking care of others, it's so important that we also make sure that we're taking care of ourselves so that we are better able to help those around us. And when you don't take care of yourself, it can have serious negative effects. So physical effects, you can end up exhausted, you can even end up experiencing things like headaches, backache, all these physical illnesses that can come about because you are taking care of others and not yourself. You can end up in stress or depression. You can end up feeling anxious. And so it's so important that we always remember that the best way we can take care of the people around us is to take care of ourselves first. And when you're a person who is very big on helping others and giving yourself to others, it can seem a bit selfish at first, but believe me, it's better that you do it this way so that you don't end up getting burnt out and even resenting the very people that you're taking care of. And so I thought I'd cover this topic today, and we'll just go through some quick tips on how you can make sure that you're taking care of yourself. These are very practical, everyday things that you can make sure that you're doing on a daily basis. And so let's get started. So the first self-care tip that I want to talk about is about taking care of your body. Your mind, your emotions, they're all connected to your body, because you don't have a mind or emotions in a vacuum. But all these things, so whether it's your mind, your emotions, and your body, your physical aspect, they feed into each other and are connected. And it's funny how we understand this principle for young children. So for example, if a child is irritable and getting annoyed by things that wouldn't ordinarily annoy them, we are very quick to say, oh, I think she needs a nap. I think he needs a nap. As soon as they take a nap, they'll be feeling better. But it's amazing how we don't apply these same principles in our own life. Sometimes as grown-ups, we just need a nap. So make sure that you're actually taking time to take care of your body. Because when you have a healthy body, when your body is built up, you find that it actually leads to resilience. Whereas when your body is weak or exhausted or overworked, it's easier for you to get overwhelmed by the things that you would ordinarily be able to deal with. And so build your resilience by taking care of your body. So this involves simple things, doing simple things like exercising every day. Try and schedule in some time for physical activity in your day. You know, it also involves eating healthy meals. Try and make sure that you're eating healthy meals on a daily basis and getting enough sleep. So things like that, you know, getting some air every day. So make sure that you schedule in time to actually take care of your physical aspect, you know, your body. And that's the first tip that can help you make sure that you're taking care of yourself, even as you take care of others. The second tip that I want to share is about stimulating your mind. And so we talked about the body and taking care of the body. Now I want to talk a bit about your mind. So it's important, you know, to make sure, even as you're at home, a lot of us, you know, a lot of us are working from home. So we spend quite a bit of time doing work. We spend quite a bit of time, you know, doing things like watching TV and all that. And that's great. But it's very important to also make sure that your mind is getting stimulation. So simple things like filling in a puzzle, filling in a crossword, reading a book is great for stimulating your mind. And these are things that can help, you know, stimulate your imagination and just make sure that you're engaging your mind on a daily basis. And so even writing is a good one. So creative writing, creativity is great. Another good one is learning something new. So you can actually take, if you have a bit of extra time, or create time in your schedule to learn something new, learn a new skill online, whatever it is that you've always wanted to do. This might be a good time for you to actually take some time to learn. And so that's another helpful tip, to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and making sure that you're building your own resilience. The third thing that I want to share is concerning social connection and our social networks. And so it's very important for us to stay connected in these tough times. You know, it's great how, due to this pandemic and people being stuck in lockdown, we've actually begun to take advantage of online platforms for connecting. And so even some of us with relatives who are far away have actually found that we've become more intentional in connecting with them and contacting them, whether it's over Zoom or Skype or whatever platform that you use. But it's very important to be intentional, to make sure that you're still connecting with people. So it's a great thing to ask yourself, a great question to have on hand is ask yourself, who am I making sure that I check in on today? Who am I going to be intentional to connect with today? You know, whether it's an online meeting, a phone call, a WhatsApp message, a text message, just make sure that you're actually fostering those relationships. And not just saying, hi, how are you? I'm fine, but try and make sure that you're actually engaging in meaningful connection. So meaningful conversation, you know, ask the person, how are you handling this crisis? How are you doing with being stuck in the house? You know, how is your family? Is everyone doing okay? How's homeschooling? Try and make sure that you're asking questions that actually foster meaningful conversations so that you find out where people are at and become a support for each other. And as well, when people check on you, do make sure that you're honest and open with them. You know, if you're struggling with something, it's a good time to say, Ish, I'm struggling with this. This is what I'm dealing with, because, you know, we need each other. We need to support each other in times such as this. So make sure that you're making time for social connection. And not just even with the people that are far away, but even with the people within your own home. It's funny how you can get used to focusing on practical things with the people that you live with. And so whether it's a husband, a wife, a sister, a brother, a mother, you know, you become so focused on the practicalities. And so all your conversations can begin to revolve around, what are we eating today? Who's taking care of the kids now? Did you buy diapers and all that? And you don't make time for actual meaningful connections. So even with the people that you live with, try and make sure that you're actually creating ways and spaces and times for you to connect meaningfully, and make sure that you're fostering those relationships. The fourth tip that I want to give you is, I want to encourage you to create what I call a nothing space. And this I have found very helpful for myself, you know, just to make sure that I'm taking some downtime even within my day. So I like to spend 5 to 10 minutes every day just sitting and thinking about nothing. Now that's nothing in quotes because it's not actually nothing, but I like to focus on very simple things. So for example, I can, you know, sit in the sun and focus on how warm the sun is and just tune into that warmth and that sensation. Or I can put my earphones on and listen to a song and just spend those 5 to 10 minutes really focusing on the instruments and how they're sounding, the different sounds. And so I like to pick things that that stimulate my senses so that I can have something to focus on. That's not work, that's not taking care of the kids, that's not taking care of the house, that's not, you know, the latest COVID-19 statistics and all that. And so just having a time where I can focus on something very simple, very basic. Another helpful thing is to actually pick something within nature. And so if you have a garden, a great thing is to just go and sit outside in your garden and look at the different colors of the flowers. Even if you don't have a garden, you know, if you just go outside and you can see some trees, focus on the different shades of green and focus on the feel of the wind on your skin. And so just simple things like that I find help to keep me grounded, even as we're in lockdown. And so I love that because it's a good way for me to have some downtime, for my mind to rest from all the other things that I have to process. And so that's my fourth tip, is have something that you can focus on that's very basic, and have that quote unquote nothing time, that your mind can rest and you can just remember, you know, the simple things. And yeah, so that's a good tip for you to focus and to take care of yourself. So that's the fourth one. And then the fifth and the final tip that I wanted to share is very simple, but it's very profound. It's be grateful for the here and now. Now, I know I've struggled with this one in the last week or two. I found myself, you know, wondering when we'll go back to quote unquote normal, when we'll go back to how things were, and, you know, missing all the things that I used to be able to do, you know, meeting up with friends and celebrating birthdays and all that. But actually, I found that the more I focused on this, the more I found myself getting a bit stir crazy and a bit unsettled and anxious and even slightly sad and depressed, you know, and hopeless. And so it's very important that we actually become grateful for the here and now, instead of focusing on the past and how things were, or alternatively focusing on the future and how things will be. And so, you know, wondering when the lockdown will be lifted, if life will ever get back to normal, and all those things in the future. It's important for you to just take some time to focus on the here and now and try and find a few things to be grateful for. It's amazing when you are intentional to look for things to be grateful for, how many you can actually find. And so my husband and I did this challenge, and I know a funny one that I thought about was, oh, I'm actually getting to conduct important meetings in my morning shoes, you know. And so in an ordinary situation, with if things were not the way they are, that may not have been possible. But here I am managing to work from home, and you can wear your morning shoes even in an important meeting. And it's a very simple thing. It's not amazing. It doesn't quite mean that, you know, life is rosy, but it does help me to focus on the positive and on the silver lining. And I find that it gives me strength to go on. And so try and have those moments where, either alone or even as a family, you can ask each other, you know, what do we have to be grateful in the here and now, in the current setup of things? What are some of the advantages that we're finding? You know, we're getting lots of time to spend with our family and to really connect. We're getting to be a bit more flexible in our work schedules because now we're working from home, if you're working from home. And so just try and find little things to be grateful for, and those will keep you positive and will keep your spirits up, and they help to, you know, to take care of yourself so that you're not slipping into depression or hopelessness. And so that's the last tip that I had to share. I really hope that these tips have been helpful. They're very simple things that you can implement on an everyday basis, just to make sure that you're keeping yourself in a positive space and you're building that resilience, so that you're better able to cope with the stresses and the pressures that have come with this time that we're in. And so thank you for joining us. We will see you next week with our next video. Do take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and stay safe.